Everybody, it's Natalie from Not Christmas Autism Girl. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, which takes place, also known as Tangled the series in the first season. This show takes place between the movie Tangled and the wedding in Tangled Ever After. It's stated that getting to the wedding was the greatest adventure that Rapunzel and Eugene ever had. Spoiler warning, real quick. I'm going to be talking about basic things, spoiler and plots from the show. So if you haven't seen this show, just a warning. Also, the show came out years ago, but I'm doing a warning just in case. Something I liked about the show was Eugene's backstory. We find out that Eugene had a childhood best friend who took the Armando Schnitz, who took the name Strongbow, and they were reunited in the episode Return to Strongbow. We also discover his deep love for Rapunzel, and we also discover in the second season finale that he is a long-lost prince of the Dark Kingdom, and his original name is Horace, which he hates. He wants nothing to do with his dad that he was reunited with. Eventually forgives him, but eventually accepts him as his dad. In the finale, he forgives him for leaving him, as his dad felt like he had no choice. He becomes captain of the guards in the finale, forever leaving his thieving days behind him. Well, he accepts a position in Flintposter, the episode, as the captain steps down and appoints Eugene, and he accepts it, but it's stated he was the best captain of the guards ever. So that's kind of cool. Something else I liked was Rapunzel and Eugene's relationship. Eugene proposes to Rapunzel in the pilot movie and is refused. However, his love for her is evident to everyone, including Cassandra, his rival and Rapunzel's handmaid and a new best friend. He stands up to her father, believing that Rapunzel doesn't need anyone to look after her, and that her father is treating her similar to the way Gothel treated her, by locking her up and saying she's not ready for the world. She loves him. She loves Eugene and supports him, but wants to figure out who she is before settling down with him. In the second season, as they're going on the road, Eugene proposes again, with her not saying really anything. After he is forced to attempt to marry another woman, she realizes how much she loves him and stops the wedding. But as she pours out her heart and says that he is meant to be in her life, but he believes she wants to be free and doesn't want to marry him yet. He states that he always believed in Rapunzel later, even if he doesn't believe in anything else. Later in season 3, they both plan to propose to the other on his birthday, but it doesn't work out, and they agree to wait. In the finale, he proposes a fourth time and is accepted. So it did take years for her, and he asked her quite a few 4 times, just like the movie stated. After years and years of asking and asking, I finally said yes. Eugene already asked her, as they state in the movie. Something else I liked was the music. Some of my favorite songs are Set Yourself Free, which is a song of the first season after she's locked in the room by her father. Ready as I'll Ever Be is another great song sung by a new character called Varian and the cast. Let Me Make You Proud, sung by Varian, who wants to make his father proud. Waiting in the Wings was sung by Cassandra, which actually won an Emmy for Best Original Song for a children's show. Nothing Left to Lose, sung by Varian and Cassandra. And If I Could Take This Moment Back, by Rapunzel and Eugene, who are saying about after she finds out he's engaged to another woman, she's very upset and regrets not saying yes to his proposal and believes that it's her fault. And they both wish they could take that moment back where before this happened. And Nothing Left to Lose, Varian is trying to convince Cassandra, which we will go into later, to not fall down her dark path. And he says that you'll realize there's nothing left to lose after you've lost everything and you drive on the path of hate. And she says, I've lost all my weaknesses. And at the end of the song, she pushes him out of a window. Well, she pushes him in a cage and then leaves the cage out a window, which made me think that she's saying he's a weakness. Because after that, she says, now I have nothing left to lose. So I think she thinks he's a weakness and that she got rid of that weakness. Which is interesting because before the song, she said she didn't want to hurt him. So that's interesting. Some of the worst characters in this show. First, we have Shorty, a character that appeared in Tangled, the movie. He is drunk all the time, and he's kind of annoying. And he's a main character in season 2, something I don't really understand because he's not a very good character. And so I was grateful when he was hardly in season 3. That's very good. And he's just annoying. Hookfoot, who is a brother of Hookhand from the movie, who becomes a concert pianist. Hookfoot is like the replacement character for Hookhand. He's one of the pub thugs, and he's just not a very good character. He's not very interesting. I was grateful when he left. Cassandra, I will go more into why I don't like her in a bit, but first, just know her fall was fine, but her redemption was very frustrating because she did all these horrible things and she only regretted it when she realized the bad guy was using her. So, and she tried to kill a bunch of people, so that wasn't super great. Monty is just a random character. And then you have the royal advisor to the king. It's kind of annoying, so forget his name. Starts with an N. Nigel. That's it. Nigel's annoying. And so is Monty. He's a shopkeeper that doesn't like Rapunzel. But however, he does teach her that not everyone's going to like her. And that's kind of an interesting lesson she has to learn. So yeah. Next we have the best new characters. Kira and Catalina are introduced as Angry and Red at first, and then we learn their real names. As pictured are orphan girls who are like sisters and live together and are adopted by Lance Strongbow in the end, who is also another great character who dives into Eugene's backstory and is kind of annoying, but I kind of like him all at the same time because he's Eugene's best friend and he really he gives an interesting dynamic to Eugene's character by telling Rapunzel that he's known Eugene his whole life. He has never loved anyone as much as he loves you. That was really interesting. And of course, Varian, who is an absolute wonderful character. Let's talk about Varian. Varian is introduced as a brilliant and kind but clumsy alchemist who wants to make his father proud. Cassandra and Rapunzel come to him for help with her hair that grew back, and he developed a crush on Cassandra despite the age difference and she says they are friends and allows him to call her Cassie. He had a fall because he felt like Rapunzel betrayed him by not keeping her promise to help him, and his father was trapped because trying to get rid of the black indestructible rocks. He went to extreme lengths to free his father, including kidnapping the queen and threatening Rapunzel, and was defeated and arrested. He came to regret his action and attempted to redeem himself by making everyone forget his actions, and he believed his father to be ashamed of him. However, once his father is freed and says he is proud of his son, Varian decides to be good. He saves the kingdom and be very afraid and is hailed as a hero. He later tries to relate to Cassandra in her anger and convinces her to turn from her path. Well, attempts to convince her to turn from her path. And he's in a lot of my favorite episodes. Like, I know favorite episode is Queen for a Day. What the Hair is a great episode where he's introduced. Great Expectations is a great episode. Um, Big Brothers of Corona is an interesting episode. Um, Beyond the Corona Walls is a great episode. Destiny's Collide is a great episode. Cassandra's Revenge is such a good episode. It's one of my favorites. I've seen it a lot. And Be Very Afraid, which he becomes a hero, is also a favorite episode. So, yeah, those are some of my favorite episodes as well. And he's in a lot of them. So, yeah. Shows you how much I like his character. Cassandra. Cassandra was Rapunzel's handmaiden who was also annoying. But they were still best friends. But when Rapunzel chooses to use the decaying incantation to try to defeat a bad guy, Cass injures her hand trying to stop her, and their friendship becomes strained because she believes she's winning in the wings, and that Rapunzel doesn't trust her. Until she finds out she's Gothel's daughter, and that Gothel abandoned when the night she kidnapped Rapunzel and blames Rapunzel for this, and turns against Rapunzel by stealing the Moonstone. She tries to kill Rapunzel a lot, and she eventually regrets her actions. She finds out the main villain used her and leaves the kingdom at the end with her adoptive father to find herself. Overall, I just think Cassandra's just a bad character with a sloppy redemption and a really bad fall. It's almost like her falls are worse than Varian's, because even though Varian tried to hurt people, he was doing it because he thought it was the only way to free his father. Which doesn't make it okay, but it's like, it's almost more understandable why he's angry. And at least he turned earlier back, regretted his actions earlier than she did. And her redemption is like, oh, she used me, so now I'm going to be good. But at least she left at the end and, wasn't really, it's good, I guess, that she left. Filling in the gaps in the story. So the main villain, in case you're wondering, I talked about some things, so I'm going to go through it. So it's revealed that when the king removed the flower to save his wife, he was warned that he would unleash a darkness beyond his control. The darkness, as we find out, was from the Moonstone. The Moonstone, during the time of the sun drop, a single drop of moonlight fell from the heavens, and from that drop of moonlight grew a single seductive opal, which became the Moonstone. And from that stone grew a kingdom, and the kingdom tried to protect the world from the Moonstone, but then Eugene's father Edmund tried to destroy it so that his son wouldn't be stuck like that. When that failed, he sent everyone away, including his son. So the main villain of this series is Xanturi, a demon sorceress. She taught Gothel the healing incantation centuries earlier, and Gothel was one of her followers. Xanturi fought Demanitus, an ancient scientist of Corona, and he created a machine to stop Xanturi when she transformed into a blizzard. He also fought and trapped her in a prison. Rapunzel touched one of the black rocks of the Moonstone that was unleashed, was removed and grew her hair back, but was indestructible and no longer possessed healing abilities. Xanturi eventually returned as the enchanted girl that only Cassandra could see, and used Cassandra to steal the Moonstone from Rapunzel so she could see the Moonstone and Sundrop from Rapunzel for herself. And she succeeds in being freed as Rapunzel and Cassandra clash after Rapunzel took over Corona. Xanturi seized both powers, but during the previous mentioned clash, a piece of the Moonstone broke off, and Rapunzel is able to use it to defeat Xanturi by uniting and vanquish her by uniting the Sundrop and Moonstone, and cuts her hair again, and the kingdom is saved. So, yeah, that's basic gaps I needed to mention. Also, I kind of enjoyed this show. Now there are parts of it I didn't really care for, like what I mentioned before, like some of the episodes weren't great, but there were some episodes that were absolutely amazing. It was just inconsistent. So overall, I enjoyed this show. It's not a favorite, but I do still enjoy it when I watch it. So yeah, that wraps it up for this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Tangled the series / Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And it does mean a lot to me if you subscribe, and send me an email if you want. It's in the description below. See you next time. Bye.